What would you say to a parent or a caregiver who is hesitant or unsure about their loved one exploring employment in the community?
I would definitely um, let them know I can relate to how they feel, and I do align with a lot of stuff Patty said, and I'd ask them to become a little bit more self-aware of their fears because um, I agree with her. A lot of the times we don't cross that line or think we can push our you know adult child or adult or a child in transition to adulthood into employment because of our own fears and what that means. um, and it's a scary thing. It can really be a scary thing because of these fears. And a lot of times we want to stay in control, but it does allow you to have to give up a little bit of control and trust to the community, and but mostly to focus on the opportunity that it can bring your child. Because what I find, I've know people personally, and I also have seen it in my professional experience that your child will probably surprise you. That what happens if when you release this and you encourage them to go out in this kind of situation and environment, a lot of times I see the child thrives. And a lot of times it takes them being out of their norm schedule, their norm environment, and have exposure to other people, and they really can surprise you, like, wow, I didn't know he was capable, or he or she was capable of this or that. Um and you don't know, you just don't know what you don't know, right? And sometimes we're holding our, and it's not purposeful or malicious, but sometimes we are holding our children back from developing to that next level, if we don't allow them new opportunities to explore different experiences in life. And it can be a fearful thing. And if you're talking about safety or um, just new routines, so it I encourage I encourage parents to keep an open mind, to keep an open heart, to explore the opportunities for employment. And if it doesn't work out, or it's not something that you're comfortable with, or it's not working out, or you feel like your child's like digressing or anything, well, then you pull back and you go in a different direction, or you go back to a different square and be like, okay, we tried that. Wasn't really what we expected or what we wanted. But it could be the best thing that you've ever done for yourself also. I mean, not only for your child, but that was one of the things that, how it allowed me to let go of more control of my child and gave him the space that he needed to grow and to form relationships with other people and to learn how to communicate and interact with other people in the world. Like he just thrived. And it took me overcoming my fears of those situations. So keep an open mind, keep an open heart, encourage yourself and encourage your child to just explore new possibilities and, discover what the possibilities could be.
Thank you. Donna, what would you say to somebody who's hesitant?
It's all building blocks. So they went through high school and they had a few community experiences. And so I think that you might not feel ready, us or them, but they are and they want to try it. And so sometimes you gotta think about it and see what works best for them and try and steer them in a different direction. For instance, my daughter wanted to work in an office, and kept telling her, she did a program at Goodwill, where they evaluated her for several different jobs. And I said, I don't think that you're going to be able to type as fast as most office people do. And they don't just file papers. I think that they do a lot of other things there. So, maybe we should look in a different direction. And so when she learned how to do filling orders and packing things, etc. She realized that she really did like that a lot as well. And I think having 2 or 3 different jobs, you build on everything you learn, just like us adults do. And just talking through all the days and how things went at work, I think is the learning opportunity to encourage them and get them through what they could perceive are difficult moments. I remember some of Allison's most concerning moments in her current job were when another employee left, and how she was sad that somebody was leaving the team. And it's a good experience, and we all have to go through that because people come and go in our lives. And so I think that always when there's a bump in the road, you reevaluate and say, is this okay? And should I continue? And yeah, well, let's try it. Let's see how tomorrow goes, or, that kind of thing. And um, try to chunk out the episodes of anxiety or stress and say, let's just get through this one thing today and see how it goes. And I think so many of us think about the whole big picture when you just got to really worry about today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Patty?
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with what Rebecca and Donna had both said. It's like building blocks, like Donna had mentioned. You build on each experience. The workforce, I think just having yourself surrounded, whether inside the work or outside of work, building that network is very important. Building those contacts. Like I mentioned before, Josh, our son, would go to a job and he would see someone from the community there, or having someone that he could talk to outside of work. Just building that network within, whether with employment and just your social, is very important. Listening to, talking about their day. How did your day go? Looking at the challenges maybe they had and working through them. For instance, he might say, like, the job that he has right now, he takes very big pride in. He's making stuffing right now, and he loves making stuffing. I would have never guessed that my 34-year-old son would enjoy making stuffing, but they have 3 different types, and there's 2 flavors and an original, and he's making that every week. And people come in and ask for the stuffing. He takes great pride in making that stuffing. And he never said, he was always like, I don't want to use a knife. Well, he's chopping celery and onions and stuff, and he's overcoming this. Well, he likes doing the front so much in the store that when they asked him to go into dishwashing, he says, I don't want to go to dishwashing. I like to be out where the people are. I said, well, just trying to working through him, say, well, they need help in dishwashing on this day because the person that usually does it is probably unavailable. So just trying to, the learning how to work with the team. And in employment, sometimes you're needed in this area and sometimes you're needed in that area, and being flexible along those lines, that you don't get to just do one isolated job. You just help the team with filling in where you're needed. So that flexibility, a little bit of change in your day. They're very good about bringing on any kind of change gradually, because we know that sometimes an immediate change is a little bit hard, but they work with him on that. So just listening to what they're saying before, because if I didn't talk to them or talk to him about his day, so he doesn't like dishwashing. Well, that might build into a stress, and that might come out later differently. But being able to talk to them and work through it helps them work through it on a daily basis. So keeping that communication open with your child, seeing how their day goes, keeping that open communication with the employer. We're always going in saying hi, how's it going, and make sure they know we have an open communication if they ever need anything. Being the advocate, I mean, like that one time I had mentioned when he had his very first job, the station was too tight for him for his height. So we advocated in the sense of, hey, something has to change here because they knew he was a good worker, but he was having trouble keeping up with, some of the mail coming in or something. Well, it was too tight for him. Once they opened it up, everything worked fine. But being that advocate in the sense of whatever comes up at the job, um, and it's like getting over your own fears. When he said that the last job, when he went in for an interview by himself, he says, I got this. You knew he crossed that line. It took, 12 years or so, but he crossed that line that he has confidence now in himself. He has so much pride in what he does that, it's not so much as earning the money, getting that paycheck sure is great, because he can buy a game or he can go bowling with a friend or whatever. But he has a daily pride in what he does. So, there's nothing you can exchange for that. But it doesn't come, as it was mentioned, it's building blocks. It doesn't come like overnight sudden success. It's like the rest of us, we learn as we go, and they have their own learning process. It might be a little slower, it might be a little different, but it's still the same learning process. Like I mentioned about the driver's license, our other children, we had, I mentioned we have 4. They went and they got their temps and they almost went out and got their driver's license, within a few months they were driving a car by themselves. It wasn't like that for him. He did his temps twice. Then he didn't pass the first test. We had him going through all this different evaluations and extra training and stuff. And it took us practicing with him, going to work back and forth, but it was a good 2 years, a full 2 years plus process. So it's not like it happens overnight for our kids, or it didn't for us, but it was like letting them become that person and letting them stretch into maybe an uncomfort zone, whether it be for them or mostly for me, but stretching out into the community, trying different things. Sometimes when he goes into the community for some things, that first step, he might need us standing with him. But once he takes that first step, he's off on, he's taking it from there. So it's a growing pains sometimes for maybe us as a parent, but it's a learning experience for them and just building on their experiences. Like many of us have to face in life. It's just, we have to let go and let them try.